Hello, friends and enemies. This is the voice of doom calling. Your days are numbered from the seventh sun to the seventh sun. Holy mackerel, that's right, it's Valentine's Day, my friends, and here we are talking about another romantic comedy favorite that is also a darling of 4 months of Oscar. Surprise! Winner of the Academy Award for Best Actor for Jimmy Stewart, as well as Best Screenplay, based on the play We Have the ever so classic The Philadelphia Story, released by MGM, directed by one of the greatest directors of the golden age of Hollywood, George Cukor, starring, of course, Katharine Hepburn as Tracy Lord. No, not the porn star that would come out 40 years later, but the elder daughter of the wealthy Lord family in Philly, who's about to get remarried to the man of the people, George Kittredge, played by John Howard, after getting divorced from C.K. Dexter Haven, played wonderfully, of course, by carygrant, in a hilarious opening scene of him leaving her. Never has there really been an opener so preciously funny, yet is quite crazy. Yay, physical violence against your wife, yay! I'm just kidding, obviously. But it's amazing that fine little detail. After Kate breaks his golf club, the marching music dun, 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 plays as he marches up, taps her on the shoulder, holds up his fist, and is about to sock her, but just shoves her with his hand over her mouth. And she's fine, just knocked the wind out of her. Obviously, it's like, ooh, now, but always hilarious when audiences were like, ah, nice. Anyway, back in New York, Spy magazine appoints Macaulay Connor and Liz Embry, Stewart and Ruth Hussey to cover the story, against the will of Mike. He's a real writer, so he doesn't have time for this stupid nonsense. These damn rich people. Quote, no hunter of buckshot in the rear is cagey, crafty Connor. Unquote. Close paragraph. Close job, close bank account. So off they go to cover it, with the help of CK, since he used to work for Spy Magazine as a consultant. But Tracy is on to CK and his dirty little tricks, and turns out he's blackmailing her. If she doesn't go along with Mike and Liz covering the wedding in the magazine, they'll report the scandal of her father having an affair with a young dancer. Serious shit right there. So the charade goes on with her father not being there, but then pops up all of a sudden with his pinchy fingers. And wouldn't you know, Mike starts to fall for Tracy, especially after a dozen glasses of champagne as I go level. I think I may have the hiccups. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't even tell you how many times I've seen this romantic comedy classic. I would say it's one of my absolute favorites. Some have stated it's overstated and it's overrated. But you're just a mass of prejudices, aren't you? You're so much thought and so little feeling, as Tracy would say. Everything about this film is just delightful, folks. But the main attraction of this film, obviously, are the performances and the writing. You can't go wrong with a great script adaptation done by Donald Ogden Stewart. No relation to Jimmy. When you have the man that did the additional dialogue for Dinner at 8, scripts for Marie Antoinette, Holiday, The Prisoner of Zenda, you're in fantastic hands here. He apparently ditched the brother character of Tracy's and beefed up more of CK's role, making it more of a love triangle, which is chef's kiss, perfect. Speaking of perfect, yes, this is a quintessentially perfect performance from Katharine Hepburn. And when you watch my video on Kate Hepburn on YouTube, you'll know it's my second favorite of hers ever. Playwright Philip Barry wrote the role of Tracy specifically for Hepburn on Broadway, since she was already deemed as box office poison in Hollywood after the horrible flops of Holiday and Bringing Up Baby. And was Cary Grant blamed for that by the public or the producers? Of course not, 'cause he's a man, nor should he either. For both Kate and Cary are genius in all three of those films. But since the play was a huge hit on the way abroad, boyfriend Howard Hughes wanted to buy the rights, but of course, had a hard time flogging it with Kate attached to it. But there was no way out of it. This was her baby. She had to be the star and continue playing Tracy in the film. It would have been a way different dynamic if her original picks of CK and Mike were cast like Clark Gable and Spencer Tracy. But thank God we got Cary and Jimmy in their only collaboration together. That's really sad. God, are they just phenomenal. And you never hear that for a romantic comedy, do you? Usually for dramas, right? Oh, it's so phenomenal. But no, folks. A romantic comedy takes so much more work, since comedy takes so much more hard work and talent. Kate was so impressed by Stewart, as everyone was after his Oscar-nominated powerhouse performance in Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, that Kate just had to work with him. Had to. And of course, he would win the Oscar for Best Actor for this one, only to be so speculated as being a mercy and retribution win for Mr. Smith. You know how that is. They give such a damn phenomenal performance the year before, the best performance of the year, in fact. But you give it to Robert Donat for Goodbye Mr. Chips. Another damn good performance, but not the best of the year, in my opinion. So you award him for a romantic comedy the next year. Never happens, really, especially at this time of 1941. Jimmy Stewart was so sweet at the Oscars in 1941, saying his BFF, Henry Fonda, should have received it for his performance in The Grapes of Wrath, which I honestly would agree, folks. However, that will never excuse the fact that Stewart's performance is utterly fantastic, iconic, and frickin' hilarious as Mike Connor, especially with the wooing scene between he and Kate. Tracy, you're wonderful. There's magnificence in you. Magnificence that comes out of your eyes and your voice and the way you stand there and the way you walk. You're lit from within, Tracy. You've got fires banked down in you. Hearth fires and holocausts. I don't seem to be made of bronze. No, you're made of flesh and blood. That's the blank, unholy surprise of it. You're the golden girl, Tracy, full of life and warmth and delight. What goes on? You've got tears in your eyes. Oh, shut up, shut up. Oh, Mike, keep talking. Talk, will you? It's utterly fantastic. It's amazing to think Jimmy was super nervous about it too, and apparently got encouragement from Noel Coward, the great playwright who came to set and visited one day. Who can ever forget the other classic scene where Stewart shows up piss drunk at C.K. Dexter Haven's place? What's up? You are? C.K. Dexter Haven, I would like to talk to you. Wow, let's go into the talking room. And the great awkward silence as Jimmy is still drinking and adds a little and CARY ad-libs, excuse me. Oh, sorry. And you see that damn smirk he's trying to cover up. It's so precious. See, this is why making movies can be so damn fun. Known as the comedy of remarriage, this film received 6 Oscar nominations, including Best Actress for Kate, Best Supporting Actress for Ruth Hussey, who wholeheartedly deserved it. God, she is just the perfect amount of logical, grounded sass needed for the wealthy, smug air of the Lord family and the banter that goes on between the stubborn Connor and Tracy. But also, Best Director for Cukor and Best Picture. Winning those 2 mentioned in the beginning, this film has such a stamp in people's hearts and minds for romantic comedies. Known publicly as one of Alan Rickman's favorite rom-coms ever, and apparently Julia Roberts' favorite movie of all time. And of course, in every romantic comedy, you just have to have a brilliant ensemble like this film 1000% does. Like, of course, just like I mentioned, Ruth Hussey and John Howard does amazingly as John Kittredge, not to mention Roland Young as Uncle Willie, who is just amazing, John Halliday, Mary Nash, little young Virginia Weidler, and the list just goes on and on with MGM's stock company. You know, my friends, I give The Philadelphia Story an A. Not an A+ because there are some silent moments that are fun and hilarious, but there are just a couple moments when the silent, awkward moments can linger just a little too long, really spacing out the rhythm of it all, which drops some of the comedy out. I know it's super nitpicky, but you know, these are important things to learn and know when it comes to doing movies. Granted, I am no expert. I'll never claim to be. And this is subjective, correct? Because art is subjective. But I do like to say I know a thing or two about a thing or two. Oh, my feet are made of clay, did you know? Oh, good night, little man. Tell me, my friends and enemies, what do you think of the Philadelphia Story? Do you think Jimmy deserved that Oscar for this one or no? Let me know in the comments ASAP. Like, share with all your friends, and even if you don't have a Valentine, it's all good. Cuddle up with a great Valentine like a great rom-com with some Ben & Jerry's, like this one, because rest assured, it will always leave you smiling, as I hope I do. Happy Valentine's Day, my friends.